Escambia County Redevelopment Agency regular meeting, December 8, 2022, 9 o'clock a.m. Please turn cell phone to vibrate silence or the off setting. The Board of County Commission allows any person to speak regarding an item on the agenda. The speaker is limited to 2 minutes unless otherwise determined by the chairman to allow for sufficient time for all the speakers. Speakers shall refrain from abusive or profane remarks, disruptive outbursts, protests, or other conduct which interferes with the orderly conduct of the meeting. Is there proof of publication?
Yes, there was proof of publication for the Community Redevelopment Agency has been properly published through the Escambia Sun Press on December 1st, 2022.
Thank you. Are there any speakers for public forum?
No.
We have no one signed for public forum. Technical and public service.
Recommendation concerning Community Redevelopment Agency meetings, minutes, November 3rd, 2022.
Move the item.
Budget and finance.
We have 3 on the agenda. The first one is recommendation concerning residential rehab grant program funding and lien agreements, A and B. The second one is recommendation concerning the cancellation of residential rehab grant program liens, so A and a B. And the third one is recommendation concerning residential roof program funding and lien agreements, A and a B.
Mr. Chairman, if we have no speakers, I move all 3.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second for discussion, but I have a question.
We have a motion and a second.
So out of the little schedules that are with them, obviously the majority of these are homesteaded properties, but our program is not specific to homesteaded properties?
Apparently not. So for, I know, number 2 on item 1 is a non-homestead and they live in Mississippi. Is that the one you're talking about?
I don't know where they live. I just see that it's not a homesteaded property. I mean, I don't know that that's,
Which one?
you know, I'll just speak for myself. I don't know that that's my intent. I don't know that that's the intent of the, I don't think it's ever been explicitly made the intent of the board to support non-homesteaded properties in these types of programs.
Commissioner Berry, and Commissioner Regash, would we take a friendly amendment to move all the items except for 2 and have the discussion as it relates? Because I know there are some concerns about that one.
Absolutely. Let's do that.
And my second stands with the amendment of dropping 1, 2 out of it. No, and as far as going forward, I mean, I don't know. My intent is try to help. I mean, we don't have unlimited funds for these. I'd like to help people that are improving their homesteaded properties, ideally.
All right, so can we go and just get the vote then? We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Pass unanimous. Commissioner Berry?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Robert, go ahead.
Sure. No, I mean, I would agree. I mean, so of course, I think part of it is that we, for some of these that you want to improve the neighborhood. I mean, that's the point of it. And that's ultimately what happens. I think maybe caught us a little off guard that, you know, they live in Ocean Springs, Mississippi, and you know, it's CRA funding, and that's not a requirement.
So I have a question.
Sanitary sewer, I mean, again, we're trying to go to from septic to sewer, so, you know, but it's.
Do you mind if I ask a question? So if, and we moved it without this part of this item.
Right.
But if the grant was $3,117, how does that compare to what they would be paying out of pocket towards it? I mean, does that cover the whole cost?
That will cover what we would give them compared to what they would have to pay to ECUA. So they would have to come up with some funds also.
So what do we know what that ratio is? I mean, so the 3117, the 3,117, does that actually go to ECUA then in this instance? Is that who
They would pay toward that to ECUA, yes.
Is that half of the cost? Does it cover 3/4 of it? Do we know?
3/4 of it, yeah.
So the 3117 covers 3/4 of the cost?
Right.
Like I said, obviously we didn't approve this portion, but you know, maybe we move forward with a lower rate for a lower match for a non-homesteaded property where you're still trying to improve the neighborhood, they're still getting a benefit, but if this is 3/4, that means the total project's just, you know, say $4,200. And if they were receiving 50% rather than 75%, then we're advantaging, we are advantaging our homestead people, which is primarily the ones we're trying to help, I think.
Well-
So maybe that's an idea.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is that this wouldn't go to ECUA, right? Because ECUA is not making the hookup.
No, it would go to the
To
contractor.
the contractor.
Contract.
I'm sorry, it's 50%, Commissioner Berry, not, no.
So yeah, it doesn't go to ECUA, it goes directly to the contractor because ECUA just
Right.
brings it out and stubs it out, and then the contractor hooks it up from the clean out to the house.
Okay, so the max, so our program is it's a 50% match.
Right, 50% match.
All right, well then, whatever the match is, maybe we consider a lower match for non-homesteaded property.
How do you lien a non-homesteaded property? I mean, so how's the repayment? So typically, if we give assistance, they have to live in the house for so long, and if they don't live there, they have to pay it back. How does this work?
Claire, we're gonna talk.
Good morning. Clara Long with the Director of Neighborhood and Human Services. So the property is lien, and whether it's a rental unit or a homesteaded unit, the property is lien. And if they go into any type of default where they're trying to sell the property, then the county will get their, whatever money we put into it. we
So
get that
for a
back.
rental property, it's lien for how many years?
2 years.
2 years, and then it
And
goes away.
homesteaded is lien for 2 years as well.
So I guess my other question would be, do we have a waiting list for sanitary sewer?
Not in our CRAs,
No, so there's no waiting list.
correct.
That's surprising.
Yeah. Well, I think part of the problem is, the reason you don't have a waiting list, because people who are poor can't come up with the 50%. So to me, I'd rather help poor people with 100% than to help a renter from Mississippi with 50%. That would be my position, because I know that there are people in Brownsville that we have meetings with that just can't come up with the 50%.
Well, I can tell you, there are considerable funds in the CRAs to utilize towards it. If you want, if maybe maybe the intent would be, maybe potentially we leave the program like it is for non-homesteaded properties instead of reducing the 50% and up it for homesteaded properties. Where it's a higher percent match, because like I said, there are considerable funds in at least the majority of these CRAs that we're working with. Considerable existing reserves as well as considerable discretionary or free cash flow each year, because we've been so steady with the TIF funding that, the funds are going there.
Yeah, I mean, certainly since you and I have been on the board, the TIP funding has increased at least 50%, since we've been here. And I for me, and maybe directly, y'all look at bringing something back, a policy. For my vote, someone who's renting a property, I'm not against, loaning or, granting with repayment. I'm not really that interested in subsidizing people who are renting. They're not reducing their rent for the people that are living there. So there has to be a common benefit for the citizens if we're going to give a renter or a developer the opportunity to take county funds.
Well, we've done that. I remember there was one that had the same person was on like 3 different ones, right? I think maybe part of what holds us up a little bit is that although we want to encourage going from septic to sewer, when you also talk about some of these CRA funds, it's about improving the neighborhood or improving the house. And it's not necessarily something you see, it's underground, right? It's not the windows, it's not the roof, it's not, and I think part of that is we do want to encourage them to improve those items to make the neighborhood look better and improve that. My thought is, if this is the case for sewer, we could be overrun, sewer comes to town, all of a sudden, this CRA area, everyone's applying for it.
Yeah, I'm open to that, Robert.
You see what I'm saying?
I'm open to that, but what I am more open to, and I don't know what the challenges are, and I would defer to staff, but I do know that I've had enough meetings sitting in Brownsville with residents, older people, fixed income that can't come up with 50%. So I could be supportive of not reducing, but as Commissioner Berry said, figure out particularly people who have homesteaded their property, have lived in their property for 20 years, can't afford sewer. They're not going to be able to get it because the contractors are not going to give them a discount. It's not like it's going to ECUA. So, I mean, our policy says 50%, correct?
Yes.
Up to 50%.
Yes.
So like to see that expanded. I mean,
Chairman,
based on
can
the-
I make just a comment, because
Yes.
this property's in Warrington? I agree with the homestead, but I'm definitely in favor of keeping this for the septic to sewer, and also open it, the same concerns you have in Brownsville, we have in Beach Haven. But I would like to keep this, because I'm committed to moving from septic to sewer to whoever wants to, and we don't have enough people asking for that in Beach Haven. The other night, I brought it up. I know in Navy Point, where this is at, we're getting some folks, but I would ask that we keep this as it is.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, and quite frankly, Beach Haven and Brownsville are completely two things, and you represent some of Brownsville. We put over $10 million in Beach Haven sewer. Yeah, I mean, so we've been very, very generous. I mean, 3,100 can't compare to the $10 million that we put in Beach Haven for their conversion. So this board has been very generous to Beach Haven. So with that said, do we have another motion on the floor from anybody?
I think the discussion's probably enough to take direction. Wes, I'd presume.
But we
that's-
did drop this on the vote. Are we going to approve this, or are we going to table it?
Which part? I'm sorry.
Number 2. The Warrington sanitary sewer, we dropped it, remember?
Oh, I was gonna leave it dropped.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to keep it on.
I'll second it for discussion. I thought we had just discussed we were just going to lower the subsidy. Do we have the power to do that? Can we just say, we'll bring it in at a lower amount? That way we're not pulling the rug out from under?
Well, that was kind of my intent. I think we had a discussion. Why don't we give them, let them bring something back in January that has, maybe
that
an
work?
amended policy. Wes can get with, the chairman to see what his thoughts are, and then, they can chat with everybody, and we bring back a little bit of an amended policy that maybe, that it's not across the board, the same percentage. Maybe we don't reduce the non-homesteaded, maybe we just up the homesteaded portion, but I'm sure that's something that they can bring back in January to us.
Yeah, I mean.
That's not a long time.
Because, from my opinion, there could be extenuating circumstances. Perhaps they're a military family and they're at a different duty station, and when they come back, they intend for this to be done. I mean, I don't know all the circumstances, because there wasn't.
Yeah, and I didn't do any research to see where they lived. I just saw it was non-homesteaded.
Well, Robert did.
They're homesteaded in Mississippi.
In Mississippi. Are they military?
I don't know.
See, I don't know that either. And if they are,
So we have all that clout. Why don't we just bring it back? It's not that time sensitive. I
So
mean,
we'll
for
bring
December.
this back in
You'll just
January.
bring it back in January.
Is that? Okay. So withdraw the motion then?
Yep,
I'll
so,
withdraw the motion.
thank you. Staff, if y'all would just bring that back in January with an amended policy. All right. Was there anything else for discussion? We stand adjourned. Thank you.
You ready?
Board of County Commissioners, General Review, 9:20 a.m. Commissioner Bender, you'll be handling the invocation?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Pledge. Commissioner Bagach, could you handle the pledge?
Yes, sir, be happy to.
Thank you. Are there any items to be added to the agenda for tonight?
No,
None that are not already in there.
Thank you.
nothing for me?
Thank you.
Nothing from me, Chairman.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I do have one. It's going to be the acceptance of two easements that the deeds are, Stacy's now in possession of the signed deeds. So it's going to be the acceptance of two easements related to Rocky Branch Road project in District 5.
Sounds great. Commissioners Forum, Commissioner Bagach.
Nothing for me this morning. I'll save mine for this evening.
Thank you. Commissioner Kohler,
I concur. I won't have anything this morning.
Commissioner Bender.
I'll save it for this afternoon.
All right. Commissioner Berry. Great. I will acknowledge that I may be running a little late and leaving a little early this afternoon, so I'm going to try to get all the discussion in this morning, unless there's things that's time sensitive. So if there's questions of staff, I'd ask that we get them taken care of this morning. Proclamations. Adopt a proclamation commending and congratulating Diane Phillips, Accounting Specialist, Public Safety. Is that going to be presented, Wes, tonight?
Eric, is that? Yes, Eric got it.
Eric Gilmore is going to do that. Will ratify a proclamation honoring the life of Sergeant Major William Mansfield Braddock, Jr. Ratify proclamation celebrating and honoring Frank Emmon on his 104th birthday. Ratify the revised proclamation celebrating Haji Temple for 182 for his contributions. Public hearing 531. Do we have anything on that, Wes, Stephen? So we're good. All right, clerks, we good? Thanks. Growth management?
Yes, sir. Good morning, Commissioners, Chairman, and board members. Tonight we have two rezoning cases for discussion on tonight. Then we have the GMO action concerning appointments to the PAC Committee, Professional Advisory Committee, and we do have our consent agenda. And we do have a plat as well.
Any questions for Horace?
Yes, sir.
There are 3 rezonings on the schedule. Is
Okay,
one of
yes,
them
yes.
being dropped?
No, I just didn't see it. My eyes weren't bad.
So we have 3.
Yes, 3 rezonings.
Horace? Commissioner Benton has a question.
Yeah. So under Appendix A of the Professional Advisory Committee, again, it just devil's in the details. It says that the committee shall meet according to the Florida Sunshine Law, which I get, on a biannual basis beginning approximately 6 months following the adoption of a scheme. It just doesn't seem like they can hold any other meetings when they want to, is the way I read it. I'm just saying, I just want to make sure that we're clear that we anticipate them to start meeting and meet more than twice a year as we have
Yes,
as they
yes.
have a need. So,
Yes, sir. That was the first establishment, but as the need arise, yes, they can.
I don't want to repeat what he said. It's perfectly good. What they do is usually continue to the next and schedule as they need
Right.
to. And minimal, we want them to meet biannual. So that they can hear from the citizens.
okay.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question for Joy. Joy, but if there is something brought forward from this board that deals with the Land Development Code or something they can call special meetings as needed to review anything that we bring, any initiatives we bring forward, if you feel it's necessary. Is that
Oh,
correct?
absolutely.
Okay.
You have that prerogative. I'm sorry, Ally.
Yeah, any recommendations to amendments to the Land Development Code by state law will still have to be reviewed by the planning board. This committee is really in the technical weeds, yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure they could meet when we needed, needed them to, didn't have to wait 6 months and, yeah. And I figured that was from when it was originally established, but again, just reading what it says.
Correct, and I think that was what I was trying to answer, Allison, is that it could, if the board asked them to meet, we could certainly schedule that for us.
Thank you.
County Administrator, report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. CAR 1, Item 1, is a recommendation concerning reappointment to the Career Source Escrow Board of Directors. Item 2 is concerning Community Redevelopment Agency meeting minutes. 3 is concerning acceptance of Affordable Housing Advisory Committee Incentive Plan Review Report.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, go ahead, Commissioner Bender.
I believe when we've had this before, we've accepted the report, but not necessarily taken action. Of course, there are some staff concerns in reference to item J, and I believe the reduction of parking and setbacks requirements for affordable housing. I mean, that might be part of the reason why we just created the committee,
Well, yeah.
because some of the parking issues that we're having.
Yeah, a lot of the report is giving recommendations to please consider variances in certain conditions. Item J is asking us to review our inventory of county-owned properties more frequently than we currently do. Right now, it's every 3 years, and their advice is to do it once a year. We have that inventory, and it's we keep up with that list pretty regularly, so I think 3 years is plenty, but if we do it more than that, that's fine too.
So,
I think it's fine where it is. I think the policy is good. They can review it every day if they want to. I mean, it's public record. So, I mean, we do have a housing strategy. I'm on the AHAC committee. I mean, I don't know what the benefit of changing the language would do.
so yeah, we are just accepting the report and
That's
forwarding
correct.
it.
Yeah, that's all we do.
Okay.
That's
Thank
all
you.
we're doing.
Item 4 is a recommendation concerning an updated memorandum of understanding between Escambia County, Florida and the Escambia Soil and Water Conservation District. 5 is concerning the request for disposition of property forms for the Department of Natural Resources. 6 is concerning the Emergency Medical Services County Grant application. 7 is concerning the memorandum of agreement between the Escambia County Board of County Commissioners and the Federal Emergency Management Agency Integrated Public Alert and Warning System Program. 8 is concerning the Next Generation 911 Project amended and restated memorandum of understanding. 9 is concerning defaulted contracts for reimbursement, training expenses. 10 is concerning appointment to the Escambia County Contractor Competency Board. 11 is concerning the...
Sorry, what?
Sorry, go ahead, Ben.
So, my understanding is that Mr. Nelson Plumbing Contractors is down on the agenda for making some emergency repairs to the
That's correct.
to the jail. I believe we need to waive our policy, is that correct, Madam Attorney? About the Nelson Plumbing being on a board and doing business with the county, and so,
So it is legally possible to have a vendor on one of your boards, but technically, the best practice would be for you guys to waive any conflict of interest. It was my understanding that it was already...
it's already been done.
It's already been done, so I'm not worried about that unless he anticipates continuing to ask for more county work.
If we need to specifically waive the policy, then I'm fine amending the item later in the agenda to amend it, or in this spot to
It's
amend
waiving
policy.
any potential conflict of interest. It's a state ethics thing, not necessarily any of your internal policies.
Okay, will you just
Yeah.
jot down some language and...
Absolutely.
we'll-
So do we need to hold that?
I think you can do it with a verbal amendment at the commencement of the CAR.
Yeah, I'll get something written from her to read, but
Okay.
Ben will be a great, I didn't realize he had applied or anything, but he'll be a great asset to that board.
Sure, just that's CAR 2-60.
All right, item 11 is concerning the limited waiver of
Yeah.
of the Escambia County Noise Abatement Ordinance for Floribama. 12 is recommendation concerning the limited waiver of Escambia County Noise Abatement Ordinance for the Pensacola Beach Chamber of Commerce. 13 is concerning authorization of access and signature for the Transit Award Management Systems. 14 is a resolution for a temporary road closure for State Road 95. 15 is concerning an appointment to.
Joe, how long is that going to be closed?
Hey, while they're walking up, I want to congratulate you.
Okay.
That's a big deal.
Yeah,
It's a big deal. It's a good thing. I was very excited when I saw the State Road 95, US 29, and then I was excited for you when I realized it was,
But it gets us to District 5 a lot quicker.
Good morning. There are two closures. One will just be for 2 nights, and the other will be for up to 50 days.
But they'll open it temporarily during those 50 days, or it'll be permanently closed?
Well, it's just the move from 29 to Massachusetts, while they're reconfiguring the intersection right there.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay.
Wes?
Hey, sorry, real quick, Chris. The last time I was on 29, they did a lot of resurfacing, which I think looks good because we'd had some complaints about some of the water pooling there. But it looks like they hadn't done the left turn lanes yet, and it looks like they were gone. Left turn lanes on a Brent, so I can't imagine that they would resurface the entire rest of the road and not the turn lanes.
No, generally, they try to do the main line at first at night because they can knock that out really quickly because it's just straight sections. And then they come back and do the center tapers for turn lanes, right and left turn lanes. And there is still a piece that is coming there at W Street where they will have to do some really heavy-duty milling because the pavement is so rutted there. And I think you brought that up right when I first started here.
Yep.
So there will be a temporary closure there that will be able to keep the north and southbound lanes open at least one, but there will be a time when the turn onto
Okay.
W Street will be
I
closed.
thought most of the other turn lanes had already been done, but maybe just because there are no medians in some of those other areas, so. But I'll check it and let them know. Okay, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely won't walk away from it half finished, sure.
now, Chris, this is a DOT project though, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so, and I know that and this was a few months back, but there were some stretches of airport and
Van Pelt and
Van
industrial.
Pelt.
And
yeah.
industrial.
Yeah, all three of those, that got done, and I've received, very good feedback about folks that, that live and work in that area. But, I think that left us with Stumpfield. Do we have the section of Stumpfield from W to 29 also?
Yes, that is ours.
That is ours. Do you think Rhodes is still doing the work on 29? I mean, I know it looks like they're about done with the sidewalks. I mean, I know they're not done with that area in W Street, but that little stretch of Stumpfield can't be 1,200 feet or maybe 1,500 feet. Do you think there's, would you mind talking to DOT? Maybe we could, if that's our section, we could possibly change order in that quarter mile of Stumpfield to get from W to 29 into the project that's going on, since they're going to be there. Is that worth a conversation?
It might be more complicated with them, but we certainly have our change order tonight. We could look at the cost of it this afternoon and modify that order.
Maybe that'd be a possibility.
Maybe that would be, thanks. I mean,
All right.
and it
Let me
needs-
give you the
But it
cost
helps
of
because
it.
they're there, so I mean, they can.
It would be our project rather than their project.
Yes.
And, okay. So in the geography, one of y'all may know it better than me. Is there another section of County Road, if you think about between, I don't know, maybe not all the way down to Fairfield, but between maybe that Central Credit Union or Airport? Is there any other county road that connects in that little stretch? Because we're going to have all these, improvements. We've already done those 3 roads. I don't know. I just can't
It
think
is a
off the top
couple.
of my
I
head.
can't think.
Those three roads they do on the east side of 29, between 29 and 95A.
Right.
I mean, you have those segments through there. I don't know what condition they're in specifically.
I don't know that the condition on those, it's really that between W and 29 that take a beating with you, because you have so much commercial traffic moving from W to 29, from 29 to W. But if there's another road other
Okay.
than Stumpfield, I know Stumpfield's one, but if there's one other, maybe we'd look at that, but at least try to look at Stumpfield. That ought to be a number they could turn around pretty quickly, and I'd be
Yes.
happy to
Joy, can you send somebody out today? I'm gonna ride myself, but before tonight, because Steve, that's a good point. We
It's
should
very-
take care of it now.
It's very timely. We're going to speak to you about those resurfacing projects within the next few weeks for your input. But for today, I certainly don't mind getting those numbers to you.
Yeah, I mean,
so we
it's
can-
3 or 4 roads out there,
we
let's,
can
as he
modify it.
said, let's do that for
Get
tonight.
it on
I
tonight's
appreciate
agenda.
that.
Steve, I think at least between, north of W and 29, all the way down to Brand, it looks like it would be the last one, I mean, other than Michigan.
Stumpfield is the last one?
Yeah. So, I mean, we've done industrial,
Van Pelt and.
Van Pelt and Airport, which, again, I know there were people that greatly appreciated us figuring a way to do those.
We should have given the state that part of airport years ago when Grover was on the board, and I don't know why.
I don't know why we didn't either.
We're too busy getting Pensacola Christian, Ross and Lane.
But no, I mean, I do want to thank Wes for moving those along, because those, because I think I even mentioned it before, I've been working with FDOT to try to get them to just come in and do airport, and we just did it while they were their contractors while they were there, so.
The feedback, and you may have gotten some of the same feedback, was that it would be much easier for us to incorporate it into ours rather than trying to reimburse them into theirs. But,
Yeah.
And maybe cheaper.
well, they said cheaper as well, that's right.
Well, if the time is right, we may negate some mobilizations, so we'll see.
Right.
Yeah, if y'all would check in that, Joy, for
Yes, sir.
tonight.
Will do.
Thanks. Wes?
All right, item 15 is concerning appointment to the Health Facilities Authority. 16 is concerning Winterfest, Hold Harmless, and indemnification agreement. 17 is concerning the chairman's 2023 annual appointments to boards and committees.
Wes, hold on one second.
Sure.
If you guys would take a look, I think y'all have read it, if there's any passion that any of you have for any other committee, I'm happy to modify it, So, if everybody's good. Okay.
Chairman, I'll just say if you want to utilize me in any capacity, I'll take on more, but I have no heartache with it.
Okay. All right, well, we'll just look through it tonight, we'll pull it and just see where you want to serve. Sounds good. Okay, Wes.
All right. Mr. Chairman, card 2, item number 1 is concerning the contract award for State Housing Initiatives Partnership Program Housing Rehabilitation Services for property located at 804 Pinestead Road. 2 is concerning...
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
thank you. Clara, do you mind coming up? And it doesn't need to be held for tonight or anything, but can we make a effort, I don't know what type of outreach can be done to just try to get more participation on the contractor vendor side? I mean, this specific one had 1 bid, I believe. I know some others had 2 bids, and I think one might have had 3, but it would just be great if we could get some more participation.
Okay, we've done at least 4 to 5 workshops, and just the participation is just not there, but we will definitely continue to try to get more.
Maybe Tim can help you with, I don't know if he's out front or if, I saw him sitting in the back doing some work, but
Okay,
maybe
I'll get with them.
maybe Tim has some avenue to some folks that can try to get the word out.
Okay.
And one thing, you could,
Sure.
I do with the Gulf Coast Minority
Yeah,
Chamber.
even Brian, yeah.
Yeah, to tell me, that's why we fund him, to go find minority contractors.
Okay.
And so, to me, this is ideal.
Especially in these communities, yeah.
In the community, I don't see why. You're in CRA areas. I know personally, there are hundreds of small one-man operations
Okay.
or two-man operations. And so that's part of the only reason we're funding the minority chambers to help you recruit. This is an opportunity to build capacity where they can go bid on larger jobs. So I agree with Commissioner Berry.
We'll do that.
Yeah, let's make sure that we do some type of outreach and making sure we preferably find some small contractors.
Okay, thank you.
Item 2 is concerning residential rehab grant program funding and lien agreements.
All right, Mr. Chairman, I'll hold that tonight or make note of amending that, which would be dropping the second item on there. So
Okay, let's hold number 2, please. Wes,
Can we just make the change?
can we make the change
Can we
now?
just make it change now, that it would? So it's item 2 was the one that we didn't take this morning in the CRA meeting?
I think, I will defer to Allison, but I think they may have to,
Tonight, you can verbally amend. I mean, the administrator can certainly do a verbal amendment at the commencement of his report, or the department can do a revised recommendation that can be fed into the agenda during the day.
So he could just say, you know,
Yeah,
move it as the consent with the changes.
We'll get it handled.
yeah.
Okay.
We'll just
So it
move it
doesn't
to
have to be
consent, and
held. Okay.
you just recognize it, Wes.
Yeah,
Because I agree. All right, Wes.
All right, item 3 is concerning the cancellation of residential rehab grant program liens. 4 is concerning residential roof program funding and lien agreements. 5 is concerning a change order number 1 for a community development block grant housing rehabilitation services for property located at 115 Southeast Kailash Road. 6 is concerning the contract award for State Housing Initiatives Partnership Program Housing Rehabilitation Services for property located at 5680 Vestavia Lane. 7 is concerning the contract award for State Housing Initiatives Partnership Program Housing Rehabilitation Services for property located at 1293 Kramer Street. 8 is concerning the contract awards for State Housing Initiatives Partnership Program Housing Rehabilitation Services for property located at 1555 Macklin Place. 9 is a contract award for State Housing Initiatives Partnership Program Housing Rehabilitation Services for property located at 6970 Oakfield Road. 10 is concerning the adoption of a resolution to approve a plan for finance for low-interest loans for single-family housing revenue bonds. 11 is concerning a derelict vessel removal grant from Florida Fish and Wildlife in the amount of $8,050 for the unnamed white 29-foot Catalina sailboat.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
not for tonight, but Allison, item 10, this is an example of one that we're going to get a small amount of revenue from, the $7,500. Is that correct?
I will certainly remind, they're going to have new leadership at the Housing Finance Authority. I will certainly remind them of that.
But this is one that would
We
meet
should,
that. Okay.
we should.
And Claire, on number 10, this will be first position mortgages that they're going to present.
Commissioner, have Lisa Bonet with Escambia County Housing Finance who can explain that a little bit further.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to clarify. I'm Lisa Bruneau, and the Escambia County Housing Finance Authority just delivered a check yesterday morning for the closing of College Trace in November, and we appreciate the work that the County Attorney's Office does with us to make sure that we're able to bring not only single-family and multifamily activity here for affordable housing, but also we're able to make sure that the bond that you're approving the resolution for tonight, it allows us to move forward and ask the state for allocation that we can use for up to 3 years. So that's 3 years of activity that will bring not only affordable housing to Escambia, but funds back into Escambia County. Can I clarify anything else for you at this time?
How much was the check?
$7,500, sir.
So is this a subsidy to first-time home buyers, or is this a first
No, sir.
position mortgage?
This basically allows us to follow the state process, to go to the State Board Division of Finance to ask for allocation permission. And they will give us an amount, and that amount is sort of a lottery, dependent upon others throughout the state. And then we bring that back to you each and every time you or a developer has come to us and asked us to issue bonds. The College Trace activity that we had close in November was located in Commissioner Bender's district, and that was a very successful closing. It took about 14 months. But we're excited that it will be a rehab of a current and active, very profitable multifamily development. So we appreciate your part of this
So
process.
College Trace was redeveloped, Robert, for affordable housing?
Yes, sir. Part of a HUD contract as well.
All right, thanks, Lisa.
Thank you.
Item 12 is concerning a derelict vessel removal grant from the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation in the amount of $17,355 for the Solitaire, a white 43-foot Endeavor yacht. Sailboat located in Bayou Grande. 13 is the same in the amount of $7,500 for an unnamed white 25-foot Catalina sailboat. in Santa Rosa Sound, east of Quietwater Beach. 14 is concerning issuance of change order number 6 to Roads, Inc. of Northwest Florida on contract PD 20-21078, 11 Mile Basin. 15 is concerning the approval of amendment number 4 to Florida Department of Environmental Protection Agreement, number QWP02, in the amount of $495,000 for the Pensacola and Perdido Bays Estuary Program. Chips, you want to make any comments on that one?
If there are any questions from the board, I'd be glad to answer them, but this is an additional state appropriation for the estuary program, for the community grants program, which has been very successful, and also to establish hard bottom for oyster reef restoration in East Bay and also Escambia Bay.
So Chips, I just want to clarify, this is with the FDEP, so this is part of the legislative $500,000 that we got from the legislator last year, and not change to the EPA grant, which we do have in the
I think that's
subsequent item.
The next agenda item, yes, sir.
But that is that is only monetary. I believe we are talking with the estuary program about having that, they're looking for an MOU to have an extension to be able to expend the rest of those funds through March, which I think is already in the EPA agreement anyway.
That's correct.
So,
Yeah, the EPA grant agreement expires December 31st, and then there's a 90-day closeout period to finalize all the financial issues and the final reporting. And that's the next agenda item, number 16.
or I think it went to 18. Yeah, I think it's 18.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah,
18.
no worries.
Okay.
You do have 16 though, so.
Yeah.
Right, so again, so this is this agreement coincides with the state allocation that those funds have to be expended by the end of the state fiscal year, which would be the June 30th
Correct.
date.
These funds, the $495,000, are in the state's budget for this fiscal year, which is July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2023.
And that grant, that was made to the estuary program and not to Escambia County?
Correct.
Okay. All right. I don't have any.
Chips, I have a question on the budget. I don't know if you
Yes, sir.
know. So when I looked over this, how many FTEs are out, how many personnel work out there?
In the estuary program?
Yeah.
I believe there are 5.
Okay,
now.
and then the fringe is healthcare, what else is all in that?
Correct. Escambia County has been the host entity for the estuary program, and so Escambia County actually provides the benefits for those employees. Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Wes.
16 is concerning authorization of cumulative expenditures over $25,000 for the Department of Natural Resources for demolition or lot clearing services. 17 is concerning the contract award, PD 21-22.134 Brownfields Assessment Grant to Terracon Consultants in the amount of $193,600. 18 is concerning minor budget modification to U.S. Environmental Protection Agency Cooperative Agreement for the Pensacola and Perdido Bays Estuary Program.
And Wes,
Commissioner Bender.
just on these, there were some, again, these are minor changes that were, as we've expended funds, we've either come in under budget, that we've reallocated that money to something else. So for this item, it is only the budget amendment.
All right, thank you.
All right, 19 is concerning supplemental budget amendment, SBA 23005. 20 is concerning supplemental budget amendment, SBA 23006, revenues from the Humane Society of the United States and kennel sponsorships, fund balance carryover to purchase an X-ray machine for animal services. 21 is concerning the contract award for electronic monitoring. We'll be asking to drop number 21 tonight to revisit that to see if we want to resolicit. So we'll be dropping item 21 tonight. Item 22 is concerning the contract award for temporary health staffing for corrections. 23 is concerning the issuance of a purchase order in excess of $25,000 for fiscal year 22-23 to Kitchen Equipment and Supply Company for the Corrections Department. 24 is concerning change order number 1, number 230716 for Maxim Healthcare Services Holdings. 25 is concerning the issuance of a purchase order in excess of $25,000 for fiscal year 22-23 to Bob Barker Company, Inc. for the Corrections Department. 26, we will be dropping tonight, and we'll be revisiting this item January the 5th, so we can provide some additional backup to Commissioner May. 27 is concerning the State Law Enforcement Trust Fund. 28 is concerning the issuance of a purchase order for annual Smart Bench maintenance for court administration. 29 is concerning the issuance of a purchase order to Pro Sound Inc. in the amount of $38,500 for the installation of previously purchased audio and visual equipment for the courtrooms at the T. Bruno Juvenile Justice Center.
And on that, so I think we just recently approved the other one, so the installation wasn't included previously?
The installation was not included previously. 30 is the issuance of a purchase order. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Wes,
Yes, sir.
for court admin stuff, do they do all their own procurement? Do we help them with their?
We do provide some assistance to court admin as they procure different things, yes.
Okay.
29 is,
Sorry, Wes, on this one, I mean, I guess, now that I'm rereading, was it different funds? Is that maybe why it wasn't included? I mean, because it seems like the 96 was funded by the Office of State Court Administrators, and then this is coming out of LOST funds,
yeah, they, go ahead.
possibly. Would that explain why it wasn't included?
Yes, sir. It's two different pots of funds. So we've got the state funds piece, and then they're using county funds to complete the project. So you've got two different things going on.
All right, thanks.
Yes, sir.
30 is concerning issuance of a purchase order to Pro Sound, to Pro Sound in the amount of $37,960 for audio visual equipment for courtroom 407 at the MC Blanchard Judicial Building. 31 is concerning the issuance of a purchase order to SHI International for the Varonis application renewal. 32 is concerning the issuance of a purchase order to SHI International for the Splunk SEAM application renewal. 33 is concerning the issuance of a purchase order to PC Specialist, doing business as Technology Integration Group for the Cisco SmartNet Network renewal. 34 is concerning the issuance of a purchase order to Microsoft for the Microsoft Enterprise Service Work Order renewal. 35 is the issuance of fiscal year 22-23 purchase order in excess of $25,000 for the Human Resources Department. 36 is the issuance of a purchase order to Blue Ridge Imaging Technologies in excess of $25,000.
Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind. John, I just want to, you don't have to come up, and it doesn't need to be held tonight. I just want to let you know I appreciate you, even on a relatively small purchase order, getting 3 competent full bids, when you're doing that. So I just wanted to point that out. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Commissioner Berry. 37 is concerning approval of state aid to libraries grant agreement. 38 is concerning purchase orders in excess of $25,000 for the Mass Transit Department. 39 is concerning the Florida Department of Transportation Section 5310 Capital Program Grant Application. 40 is concerning the Public Transportation Grant Agreement providing fiscal year 23-24 Urban Corridor Grant Funding to Escambia County Area Transit. 41 is concerning the grant agreement providing fiscal year 2023-2024 block grant funding to the Mass Transit Department. 42 is concerning.
Sorry, just
Sure.
on 38, I just want to make sure that the notes under contract number would suffice for the clerk's records, where it was previously approved under a different name and now that, so just making sure that's going to suffice.
I see it in the minutes, I believe, and I'll defer to Pam, but I do believe that makes it searchable. We can always notate a cross-reference in the previous minutes where this was corrected in these minutes, and we do that pretty routinely, so we can do that just to cover everything. But because it is noted, it is searchable in our minutes, so I think it'll be sufficient unless Pam thinks otherwise.
Thank you, Delana. 42 is concerning the Florida Department of Transportation Section 5311 non-urbanized off-cycle operating funding grant application. 43 is concerning the contract award, Beulah landfill repairs for due to Hurricane Sally. 44 is concerning purchase orders over 25 for lubrication products for solid waste. 45 is concerning waste tire removal for recycling / disposal. 46 is related to previously awarded solicitation, construction of Fairchild drainage improvements.
Sorry, are we dropping this? I thought I thought we said on Tuesday we were dropping it because of the contract or something.
I'm sorry, I'll move to the front row.
You're-
We had to drop it last meeting because of contract issues. Now we're bringing it back.
Okay.
Sorry and delay.
Nope.
Thank you, Joy. Item 47 is the purchase of one used 2021 Ford Expedition XL STX four-wheel drive for emergency medical services. 48 is concerning the conveyance of a deed of conservation easement for Well Line Road. 49 is the issuance of a purchase order in excess of $25,000 to Train US Inc. for public safety. 50 is concerning the issuance of a purchase order in excess of $25,000 to Iron Bow Technologies LLC for animal shelter access controls. 51 is the issuance of two purchase orders in excess of $25,000 to RD Allen Construction LLC for the Hurricane Sally Fire Station repairs. 52 is concerning the issuance of a purchase order in excess of $25,000 to Interface Services, Inc. for carpet replacement at the property appraisers area. 53 is concerning the issuance of a purchase order in excess of $25,000 to Iron Bow Technologies LLC for Bellevue Library camera system. 54 is concerning the issuance of a purchase order in excess of $25,000 to Bill Walther Roofing Incorporated for the Hurricane Sally Cantonment Fire Station repairs. 55 is a change order number 2 to purchase order number 161376 to Stoa Architects for the 2014 flood mitigation project at Clerk Archives and Juvenile Justice Center. 56 concerning the acceptance of a public road and right-of-way easement for the Kempstrand Road South drainage and sidewalk improvements, 9 Mile Road to Johnson Avenue. 57 is the issuance of a change order number 3 to WW Granger, Inc. for purchase orders in excess of $25,000 for maintenance, repair, parts, and supplies. 58 is concerning issuance of a purchase order in excess of $25,000 to RD Allen Construction LLC for the Hurricane Sally repairs at the Supervisor of Elections Warehouse. 59 is concerning the acceptance of a drainage easement for the Harvester's Homes drainage improvements. 60 is the issuance of a purchase order in excess of $25,000 for the emergency domestic hot water line repair at the old jail and new correctional facility. 61 is concerning the federally funded subaward and grant agreement number H0846, project number 4564-031R from the Florida Division of Emergency Management for the Bristol Park and Ashbury Hills acquisition project.
Sorry, Wes. So Allison, on 60, you're just going to bring an amended recommendation to waive or to recognize?
I'll give some language to the administrator to
Okay.
read.
All right, 62 is concerning the contract award for the Motley Court Gully repairs. 63 is concerning the contract award for the Mill Swamp House site repair and restoration project. 64 is concerning the locally funded agreement for design of the replacement of bridge number 484023 on Gaddy Lane over unnamed branch bridge. 65 is concerning the contract award for design services for Oakfield Acres, Palafox Street. And we are asking to drop this one tonight to resolve some contract issues and bring it back on January the 5th. 66 is concerned that we will absolutely be ready for January. Yes, sir, Commissioner. 66 is concerning the general paving and drainage pricing agreement. 67 is concerning the contract award for construction, engineering, and inspection services for the Perdita Bay Boat Ramp project. 68, concerning Perdita Bay Boat Ramp construction. We are asking to hold this tonight and bring it to the January 5th in order to assess some contractual issues, maybe from the Quiet Water Pier project and the Bellevue Library project.
Let's just drop it tonight. Let's
Yeah.
drop it and bring it back.
We'll drop it, bring it
Yeah,
back
drop
January
it and bring it
the
back.
5th. Yeah. Correct. 69 is concerning the locally funded agreement for design of the replacement of bridge number 484060 on Klondike Road over unnamed branch bridge project. 70 is concerning a change order on contract PD 20-21.035 to Rose Inc. of Northwest Florida. 71 is concerning a change order on contract PD 21-22.023 Perdita Key Drive at Johnson Beach Road Roundabout Project. 72 is concerning issuance of a change order number 3 to Rose Inc. of Northwest Florida.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry. Is there some language related to a splash pad? What exactly, on the roundabout? What is that referencing? I'm not familiar with that with a road project.
My understanding, this is for lighting at night.
The splash pad specifically is a dissipator pad. It's on the end of a flume that's draining the roundabout to the right of way.
To bring it back to a layperson, what's the
So
discipline?
it's a
It slows
concrete
the
pad. It's a
stormwater
concrete
down.
pad. It's got blocks on it that spread the water out.
Like
So
porous, it's a porous, a piece of
It's a
concrete that's porous?
concrete pad that's at the end of a flume that just spreads the water out. It's got blocks that
It's
just
an energy
keep it
dissipator.
from- Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Keep it from causing erosion.
Okay. Yeah, I've never heard that phrase. I've never heard that phrase related to road construction. Okay.
73 is concerning public official bonds for Commissioner Michael Kohler and Commissioner Robert Bender. 74 is the issuance of fiscal year 22-23 purchase orders in excess of $25,000 for county administration. And I will be asking to possibly drop this. I believe we make a remedy the situation during the day and bring it back. We have the wrong contract number, wrong dollar amount reference for our state lobbyists, so we'll be fixing that today and bringing it back tonight. I'm gonna try to bring it back tonight. 75 is concerning approval of an amendment to the fiscal year 22-23 Visit Pensacola, Inc. miscellaneous appropriations agreement. 76 is concerning funding for Pensacola High School boys basketball. And then card 3 is recommendation concerning request for application 22-205 for tax credit applications through Florida Housing Finance Corporation. And that is my report.
That's good, right? I think that area housing is here, so if there were any questions, so, as it relates to, the Florida Housing Finance. I think these are in, Kohler, I think they would be in your district. So were there any questions for them this morning? Because I don't want to bring them back tonight if they don't have to come back.
I had sat down with them. I don't have any questions.
All right. Well, I think it'll be fine. Abe, I don't think y'all need to come back tonight. Well,
I'm done.
you're done. Madam Attorney?
Thank you, sir. As a reminder, we're having an additional jail construction litigation shade meeting at 4 p.m. today. You do need to convene here in public at the dais at 4 p.m.
Commissioner Berry, would you please handle that? My daughter graduates from nursing school today at 3, so I probably would not be back here at 4.
I do
Your
think-
daughter's,
Yeah, I don't know if she wants me there or not, but I'm still gonna go.
you're going, may I ask, are you going to the pinning ceremony?
I am going to the Penny.
My daughter's graduating as well, so I'll be there as well, so we'll both be late.
Well, good, yeah, well, good thing, yeah. Maybe my daughter will get a job and,
What about the picture, though? Don't we have to take a
CMR
picture?
will probably want to reschedule the picture then.
Yeah, let's reschedule
It's
it.
the 3:30 photo session for the new.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be here at 3:30. And Jeff, you won't either.
No, I won't either.
We won't be done there.
No.
Good.
Yeah, Commissioners, at some point in time, I know CMR is trying to put together a holiday greeting with all 5 commissioners, so if you could just kind of be open-minded as David kind of works to accomplish that.
Okay, sounds good. So if Commissioner Berry would handle that, we certainly would appreciate it. With that, we stand adjourned. We'll see you back here at 4 o'clock. Well, I mean, what time shade meeting?
Talk about your items?
The shade meeting is scheduled to start at 4 p.m. here. Public forum is scheduled to start at 4:30, so if we don't think we're going to have a quorum for the shade meeting, we'll reschedule it if we need to. They have asked they would like to be able to have at least 3 of you to talk to.
And what's the shade meeting on?
Jail construction litigation.
Well, no, I'm not going to be here. I mean, jail's litigation's been going on for 5 years, so, I mean, it can be postponed. As for me, I mean, it's just going to be hard for us to drive from the pending ceremony and
Yeah, we probably-
guarantee, yeah, I mean,
Can we reschedule that one?
yeah, let's reschedule.
it.
Let's reschedule it for the January meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect, perfect.
Sorry, I mean, is there anything that's time sensitive? Because I do know that, I mean, of course, it was in the paper that they were coming after us and
Well, that doesn't make it time sensitive.
Debbie's gonna have a new outfit for Christmas, so,
They're trying to reschedule those for February as we speak. I think there was a lack of coordination by plaintiffs, well, defendants' counsel. Anyway, there was a lack of coordination by the people trying to schedule the deposition.
Right.
So
and okay.
I'm not,
Did you go over your report? I was pulling up the calendar.
no, if there are any questions, I can certainly answer them. There are the 2 items. One is related to the sheriff's drone application, and the other one is related to a dismissal related to a fire suppression matter. I can certainly answer any questions or get with you individually during the day.
All right, so we will reschedule the shade meeting to our January 5th meeting, and then public forum will be at 4:30.
And I will certainly try to get the recommendation for the reschedule on the agenda for tonight.
Sounds good.
And then, Mr. Chairman, I know you had mentioned on public forum that we'd be starting our meetings on time. I would just say that the person giving the invocation does have a time sensitive, I think he has to be gone by 6. So,
It is my goal, if I'm here, to start the meeting on time, Commissioner Bender, so we will be sensitive to that. I understand that we may have quite a few speakers tonight, I guess as it relates to the Perdido sign issue. So I will do everything that I can to make sure that we start. If not, Commissioner Berry is always timely, so I'm sure you'll start on time.
absolutely. Perfect.
All right, thank you.